What's up everybody, Josh here, and welcome to the Adventure Diaries. Today we are headed to Goblin Valley State Park to see what we can find in this alien landscape. Actually in Goblin Valley State Park now. We are getting ready to take the trail out to Goblin's Lair. So, kind of excited for that. Can't wait to see what we can find. By the time we entered the park, we had already had a pretty busy morning. We knew our time was limited, but we weren't exactly sure what we were going to do. We had some options to choose from, but what swayed our decision was my little niece. She really wanted to look for the Goblin King in the Goblin's Lair. You know, we really couldn't argue with her logic. So my brother-in-law, my niece, and myself gathered up our gear and headed down the trail. The rest of our group stayed back at the cars and let the littles take a well-deserved nap. I have to be totally honest here. I know I'm usually the one that's preaching about being prepared, but I was far from it this time. But I'll get a little bit more into that later though. The Goblin's Lair was once a hidden gem found in the eastern boundary of the park, accessible to only those that were willing to get off the beaten path. Now it's pretty well groomed and marked by signage for ease of travel. As I was looking into this trail, I found conflicting reports on how long it actually is. For the sake of argument, we'll just say it's about 3 miles with 203 feet of elevation gain. And if anybody does know the actual length of this trail, please let me know in the comments. The trail starts at the Goblin Overlook parking lot and follows the Carmel Canyon Loop Trail for about half a mile before it splits off and starts to follow the far wall of the park. For the most part, the trail is fairly easy. You will encounter some switchbacks, a wash, and a sand hill. Other than that, it's pretty well flat. It doesn't start to get strenuous until you reach the cavern. As you can probably see, we are completely exposed to the elements. There is nothing on this trail that can be found that provides any shade. I guess it's possible that the hills may provide some depending on the time of day, but I wouldn't count on it. All I can say is, be prepared and you'll be fine. Walking this trail, you may not think this is the prettiest of all landscapes, and I'd have to disagree. Hey, I'm a desert rat. I grew up playing in the dirt and sand. We can both agree that there are some really cool rock formations. Over millions of years, wind and water have cut into the sandstone, creating what can only be described as an otherworldly place. This is where the fun begins, and yes, I do mean fun. A nice little scramble up the path to get your heart pumping right before you have to make your descent into the cavern. I was blown away by my little niece. She made her descent down look like it was nothing. I have to be honest, when I initially made it into the mouth of the cavern and looked down, I was a little bit nervous. I know she's been on several hikes, but I don't know if she's ever done anything like this before. Maybe it was because her dad was there cheering her on, or if she didn't realize that she should be nervous. Most likely, it's probably because she was fearless. Yeah, probably that one. All I can say is kudos to you, E, for making it look easy, and making this old man feel foolish. I mentioned earlier that I wasn't prepared as I usually am. This is why. I was meeting our group in Goblin Valley after work, and in my haste to get to work, I forgot to grab my hiking shoes. The shoes I did have didn't have the best grip, and this was the reason I was initially nervous to make my descent. Sandstone was called slick rock for a reason, and if I would have slipped, it wouldn't have been really bad. But luckily, I made it to the bottom without any problems. The funny thing though, I was standing there taking pictures, and the next thing I know, I am flat on my back, my camera is sitting on the ground a few feet away from me, and my arm is all scraped up. My pride was hurt more than anything. I guess it goes to show, you don't know what's going to happen until it happens. We did discover that we took the harder way down. On the far right, there's a much easier path. Sorry, I had to turn off the camera there for a minute.
because the climb down got a little hairy and I needed both hands. So, but this is a pretty cool little cavern. From what I've heard is that it's obviously, as you might be able to see, but it's large enough to fit at least a full-size school bus in it. But yeah, this is a pretty cool little cavern. If you back over here, there's another little cave you can go into and crawl down. I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to, and I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to. But we're going to stay here for a little bit longer and just take this in.
Okay, I know I just said I wasn't going to go in, but I did anyway. And it went about the way you expected. I made it in a few feet, and then it went completely black. Let's talk about the cave for a minute. The cavern is not a cavern at all. It was once a slot canyon. Over time, rockfalls sealed it up, creating the Goblin's Lair we all know and love today. If you are looking to be a little bit more adventurous, you can purchase a permit from the visitor center. This permit allows you to rappel into the lair from the holes in the ceiling, 100 feet above the cavern floor. We didn't get to witness this, but maybe next time. We may not have found the Goblin King, but we did find a lot of fun in the process, and made plenty of memories. If you like to get off the beaten path, I would highly recommend this trail. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. And remember, sometimes you have to get lost to find yourself. Until next time, thanks for stopping by.